when I sit down and listen to my mentors in business talk, the first thing they always say, and this has been half a dozen conversations, is you have to establish what you're about, what separates you from other people, other organizations. And really the core of that message, they'll phrase it differently, but they're talking about values. So I'm curious, how do you separate values from mottos, from like a mission statement? And I know you guys also have a family mission statement, which I'd love to hear about that. But walk us through that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Well, they're certainly all integrated. And what you say, one of my most beloved mentors who I miss every day was Stephen Covey, and we were almost neighbors. We lived about a half hour away. And
You guys know Stephen Covey.
7
No,
Habits,
Stephen Covey.
highly effective.
Oh,
the
yeah,
the
there you go.
best-selling self-help book in history.
Wow.
In history. You know, so we thought, hey, our book's number one on the New York Times bestseller list. Well, his was on the list for 20 years.
Wow.
Wow.
And so here's this great famous guy, but he was to us a personal mentor. And one night we're sitting with him, he had this Chinese restaurant he liked to go to. And he looked right at me and he said, maybe he was looking at you, but it seems like he was zeroing in on me for
I think
some,
it was you
because
for
it was
sure.
a kind of a criticism. He was leveling it at me. He said, "What's your family mission statement?" And I'm like, "I've got a company mission statement." He said, "I know everybody's got a company mission statement. What's your family mission statement?" I'm like, "Don't have one." So he said, "Shame on you. You know, I mean, why do any of us who are in business do all these elaborate, proactive things in our companies and don't bother to do them with our family?" He said, "Do it the same way. Go hire a conference center somewhere on a weekend when you can get a reduced rate and let your kids swim when they're not working or play tennis or whatever, then call them to the conference table and do it just like you would in your company, you know? What's our family all about? What adjectives describe our family? Just start putting stuff on whiteboards. Just collect everybody's thoughts. And if you spend 2 days working on it and try to massage it down to a vision statement." So he was really talking about values. But I would answer your question by, and we did that, and Linda thought it was the greatest 2 days of our life, and it really was in some ways. But the values we think of as a list, character qualities, kind of like Benjamin Franklin. You remember he had a list of the things he wanted in his life. But these are for family. The values we want to be in our family, and they're separate. They each involve separate work. But a vision statement is kind of an effort to put them all into one nice little worded paragraph, so that everyone's like, I contributed to that. I was part of that. That's our vision statement. But tell how it went.
Well, it was
how
really
it's
fun.
simplified.
We did tell them that they also had a pool and they had
Yeah.
a pool table and they had all these
Yeah.
fun things that they could do. But we were just going to go do it. And it was so fun. But we just had meetings, like we'd go together for an hour and then we'd send them off to think about it and then come back again. And we hashed it around a lot of different things. What are we about as a family? Who are we? What do we want to be? What's the future for us? What's our goal as a family? And it was really fun. I wish we had, somewhere we must have those notes.
Yeah, we do. We've still got those
Because
notes.
they all had lots of, and this is by the time we had several teenagers. I think the youngest was 7 or 8, and or 6 or 7. Anyway, it was really fun because they started thinking, what is this? What are we about? What are we about? And we just kind of melted it down because we said we need to keep this in just a few words. And the words we came up with were broaden and contribute.
Finally got it down to 3 words. It was a paragraph, then it was several sentences. Finally got down to broaden and contribute, which doesn't mean much if you just say it off
if
the
you
cuff.
say
But
it.
if you'd been through all that process to our kids, that was ask yourself the question, why? Why are you doing anything you're doing? Is it to broaden or is it to contribute? Because those are the only 2 things that are worth doing.
So to them, it really meant get the best education you can. Learn as much about the world as you possibly can. Open your mind to what's going on around you and just broaden, just take it in. But then it's our job to give back. Once we've taken all this in, then we're going to give back as a family. So it really has been quite incredible.
Their Christmas present to us about 3 years later, I don't know, was it somebody found a calligrapher that was really good, and their Christmas present was this big gold leaf and ink rendition of Broad and Contribute. It's hung on our wall ever since. It's probably the most precious thing.
I do have to tell you that they did hit me up for some money to do the.
Oh, did they? I didn't even know that. I didn't know. They sent you the bill afterwards?
Yeah, no, they helped.
They bought it for you and then invoiced you later.
Invoiced you later.